Hello and welcome to today's Speedbuild. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us, and if not, then welcome back. So today I am so excited because I am bringing to you a generations home build, family home build, and this is a type of build that I've not did in a very long time, and I absolutely love doing family orientated builds and things that really dive into a dynamic. And I had so much fun coming up with a kind of storyline for this family, and I had so much fun decorating this house and also just creating it because, as you can probably see, we are building in Brindleton Bay, and so we are going for a very coastal vibe, which I love. I love the coastal vibe, but it's not something that I really dive into very often just because I guess I'm not super comfortable in it. I've not built a lot of builds that are themed around coastal, so I really stepped out my comfort zone to create this, and I absolutely love how it turned out. Now, it does end up being a very big house, and this is a pretty long speed build, and I just want to apologize if you're not a fan of the longer ones. I didn't realize how long this was going to take me until I was kind of got into the inside and I seen how big it was, and I seen how big the floor plan was, and I was like, okay, this is definitely going to take me a while. But I also really like it. It's a very unique shape, I feel like, and it was hard to create a floor plan in this type of house because I feel like there was a lot of awkward bump outs, awkward shaped rooms, and I obviously in the Sims you can't have too many bedrooms because there is an 8 sim limit unless you're playing with mods, of course. And I should probably mention this house is made for 8 sims, so there is 8 sims living in here. That's what I intended anyways. But yeah, because of that, you can't really have too many bedrooms unless you're adding kind of like guest bedrooms. So I felt like it only made sense to create some more fun rooms like activity rooms, etc. So this house, it ends up having 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. It also ends up having a kids playroom, which I thought was absolutely perfect, and I really like that room. It also has 2 laundry rooms. There's one on the bottom floor and one on the top floor, and then there's a gym, an office space, and also a reading nook. And then there does also end up being an extra kitchen area, more like a kitchenette, but I will get onto that as we go into the family dynamic because there is a reason for that. But yeah, this home is really big, it's really grand, and I love how it turned out. So I'm so excited to delve into it with you guys. But yeah, as you could probably see, I was building on a bigger lot, but I ended up moving to a bit of a smaller lot just because I felt like it was much easier to fill up the space, and also I didn't want to make the house too big and I wasn't completely 100% with what I wanted to do with my surroundings. So I moved to this smaller lot and I think it works really well here. So it ends up being pretty wide. I also added some terrain as we go, so you'll see a lot of stones and terrain manipulation and things like that that I decide to add around the place, and also trees and things like that because I wanted it to feel like it wasn't just plopped here. I wanted it to feel very inbuilt with everything else, and yeah, I think that works out really nicely. So we do have kind of a pretty typical generations dynamic. I will let you know what I was kind of thinking for the Sims living in here. So there does end up being 2 parents. Now, the 2 parents, they are on the bottom floor, and they also share a room with their newborn baby. And the newborn baby has a crib right beside the bed, which you'll see as we move on to the inside. And I thought that was very sweet. It's not something that I'd done before, but it's actually very realistic, something that a lot of people do in real life. So I wanted to include that. And then we have the grandparents' bedroom, and it's for specifically a grandma. Now, there is a little bit of drama. So, grandma and grandpa are divorced, and grandpa's actually seen someone else. And honestly, like, grandma's a little bit salty about it, and she always talks about it. And I feel like grandpa, like, he's at the family events and things, but he just doesn't live within this household, so he'll live somewhere else. I think he most likely lives with the new woman. But yeah, grandpa, he's kind of like unbothered. He goes to the family events and things like that, but yeah, he's not like he's not bothered too much about the grandma. But yeah, she's a little bit salty, but she just likes to have a little bit of a gossip. So she's a really fun character. I will get more into the dynamics when we move onto the inside and we create like their bedroom areas. But on the top floor, we end up having two little girls who I really wanted to be kind of younger. I wanted them to be around like 4 and 5. But the issue is in The Sims, you kind of go from toddler to child, and child really seems to be around the ages like 9 to 11, sort of. So it's kind of difficult. I mean, I think it's more like 9 to 13 maybe. But yeah, it's not really, I don't know, they're not as young as I would like them to be, just because they have a playroom and stuff, and I wanted them to be a little bit younger. But yeah, I would assume with the ages we have in game, they'd probably be around like 8 and 9. They're still very young, they still love playing with games, like that's still a very normal age for that. But yeah, they're around that age. And yeah, they're like best friends, but they also fight quite a lot. But yeah, they're like besties. Like, I don't think they're twins or anything like that. But yeah, they have a really nice strong dynamic, and they share a room. And then there ends up being a room for an older brother. So the older brother, he is, I want to say, like around a young adult. I think that he is probably in college at the moment, but he's not staying in student accommodation. I think that he travels out, he commutes every day. So he still stays in here, but he is like a very clean person. When I was decorating his room, it's very clean, everything's very nice and organized. It's not super cluttered and messy, which was nice. It was a nice change, because I always do the exact opposite for my kind of like not, I don't want to say kid because he's a young adult, but my like children Sims to the families. So yeah, that was a nice change. And then they're also, we trying to think, the last one, there ends up being another little boy, and I was thinking that he is probably just going into high school. So he is getting all ready for high school. I think he's super excited. I think that he really looks up to his brother. So I imagine that him and his brother have similar interests, and like they're very close. But obviously his brother is very occupied with uni at the moment, so he's not really able to like hang out with his younger brother as much as the younger one would like. But I think that, yeah, he really looks up to him, and he is just super excited to start high school, because he's like, I want to be just like him. I want to, study and do all of that stuff. I don't know if, like, when you start high school in, like, other countries, I don't know if the age is different. In the UK, we tend to start high school when we're about 11, 12. So you're still quite young. So my idea was that he's still quite young. I was thinking about like 12. But of course, to go to high school in The Sims, they do need to be teenagers. So he's probably, I guess you could say, he's about 13, 14 maybe. But yeah, I think he's so sweet, and I think I'm really hoping he has a good time when he does eventually start high school. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more on the inside, just because I don't want I don't want to overwhelm you. But let's talk a little bit about the exterior of this build. So as you can see, we're doing a little bit of the terrain. So we've got a lot of like rocks, trees, bushes and things going on. We of course have this like a little garage space, which I thought was so beyond cute. I love this. I did end up turning the area like next to the car into a little like storage space, and then on the top part there ends up being like two little benches and a wee rug, and then of course they can come out to the balcony and there ends up being a grill on there. Now, technically this build has I think 3 grills, but it's because there's one out front, there's one on that little like patio area, and then there's also one behind the car, but I wanted that to look more like a kind of old one that they don't really use anymore because it's next to their storage space. But yeah, your Sims might just try and use it anyway because we know what Sims are like. So yeah, do with that what you will. You can of course get rid of that if you would like to and add something else there, but I just thought I would let you know. Now I added some of those like really nice big bushes in, and those are lovely. I feel like they are such coastal vibes. I do end up adding a few more. I feel like with those, like less is more. Like it looks really nice when you've just got a few like dotted around the place. So there does end up being a little bit more. And then we've of course got the mailbox and the bins. Now this build is already on the gallery, so if you don't want to download it, please feel free. My gallery ID is iHanza YT. I'm sure that's my now I'm confused on. I'm just gonna double check that is my gallery ID, but I'm pretty sure that it is. But yeah, I have added everything from a save file as well because I wanted to make sure that they were all up. We got the base game update and I didn't even realize it, and I was doing this build and I ended up seeing it and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I do end up using the new counters from the base game update in the second, like in the kitchenette area. So you will see that when we move on to the upstairs. I've just had a wee look and my gallery ID is just iHanza. I don't know how I forgot that, but yeah, my Instagram is iHanzaYT. It will all be linked down below anyways because for some reason I just see after I'm finished working I feel like it's so hard for my brain to think like coherent sentences. I just forget everything, so I'm a little bit all over the place. But yeah, I really wanted to get this video out for you guys and I've been like working non-stop, and also the builds and videos I'm doing, they're taking quite a long time to edit, and I want to apologize because I think in terms of this week, I've been kind of lacking in videos, which I hate. I really don't want that. I've been on such a roll and I want to stay on that roll. But yeah, I just wanted to explain that that's kind of why. But yeah, I really wanted to get this video out for you guys. I feel so bad when I miss uploads, and yeah, I feel like I'm over by like 2 days. I should have uploaded this like 2 days ago, but I'll be honest, I only finished like, you know, actually making this build last night. It took me I think 7 hours in total. So I kind of come home from work and then I have a routine of like I come home, I have something to eat, and then I start building. And yeah, so I've been doing that the past like week when I have time, which is usually just every day when I'm able to. And yeah, it just took me so much longer than I thought it would. But anyway, we finally moved on to the inside of this build. So as you can see, we're doing the like front area. Now, I wanted to keep the interior very open, very light, and just, I don't know, I wanted it to feel very airy. I think that's the right word here. I wanted everything to flow really well, be very light, and just very airy. And I feel like that's something that I typically don't go for because I'm a very cluttered, dark wood tone kind of vibe. I love all of that. I love things to be kind of on the darker side, and I love things to feel a little bit more full. And I will say this build is definitely very cluttered up, but I feel like it's got a lot of space, and the space really works with the area that I'm working with. Where I don't feel like it looks crazy, or I don't feel like, you know, it's excessive. So yeah, everything is very like nice and full, but it's also not like, it's not over the top. I feel like it's a little bit more toned back, so you can let me know what you think of that. Now I'm just going to explain what's going on with the food bowls. As you could probably, well, you're probably thinking it, how is there food bowls if we already have 8 Sims in this house? And of course, pets take up a space. So I didn't actually imagine a pet being in this house. There is a little bit of a storyline behind this. So the grandma, the grandma that is, you know, she's divorced and she loves a bit of drama. She also loves living in Brindleton Bay. And she has lived here ever since she was a little girl. She absolutely loves Brindleton Bay. And one of the main reasons is because she is just so obsessed with cats and dogs. And honestly, any animal for that matter. She is just a big, big animal lover. And she loves animals of all kinds. So she actually has the little bowls by the door and she goes out and she feeds the strays that come by. And I think that she definitely tries to persuade, you know, the mum and dad of the household to adopt some animals, and they're like, no, we can't, like, we have a full house, we're having to deal with, you know, ourselves and our kids, and like it's just a little bit too much for them. But I think if it was up to her, she would honestly like adopt every single animal that she could. And so, yeah, she's a big animal lover. She goes out, she feeds them every day. And I think that she probably goes down to like the Brindleton Bay like cat and dog cafe. I can't actually remember the name of it. It is slipping my mind right now. Please let me know the name of it. But yeah, she goes down there a lot, I imagine, and she also feeds the animals down there. And yeah, she's just very animal orientated, so that is why that is there. And I thought that was super sweet. I really love that about her. I think she's a very like lovely person, and yeah, I just love that so much. Now, anyway, we have moved on to the kitchen area, and something I didn't do, which I normally do, is I didn't add any tiling to the flooring in here. I feel like you can probably tell why, but it's a very open floor plan, and I just felt like tiling wasn't, it just wasn't going to cut off at a very good time for me to do it, because there ends up being a raised platform behind this, and there also ends up being like a dining space, and there ends up being obviously just like an open area as well, so that you can get between all of these. And I just didn't see tiling working very well. I suppose I maybe could have, like, if I had moved this little like table that I'm working on now, like if I moved it down a bit, but I don't know, it just didn't click in my mind to do that. So if you would like to add tiling, please just feel free to add it. As I said, this is on my gallery, otherwise I would, you know, see if the tiling looks a bit better. But if it does, I can upload a version that has the tiling down. But yeah, I just didn't really think it was going to work, so that's why there isn't any. But I really like this kitchen. It's very open. As I was saying, I wanted everything to feel open and clean and fresh, and it was very hard for me. I'm such a clutterer. I love to clutter things up, but you know, I really wanted this to just feel a little bit different from my usual stuff, especially because it can be very repetitive building in The Sims, especially when like you are so used to building your style all the time. I feel like it's very easy to fall into the same routine all the time and never kind of expand out. So I was like, I think this will be a nice test. And the last Generations home I did was actually like I'd say a pretty like basic normal family home. So I've never done one that follows this kind of like coastal vibe or anything of the sort. So yeah, I took free reign with it and did what I could. But yeah, I always love to hear feedback. So, you know, if you have anything you want to say or like add, or just anything, any tips or just anything that you think is important, please let me know. I love reading your comments. I really, really do. And I love replying to them and I love seeing what everyone's saying. So, yeah. Now, as you can see, I've added some dog treats. I do also add dog treats to the grandma's bedroom because it just made sense. So, there is dog treats, and yeah, these are the treats she uses to go out and feed them because she is just animal crazy. And I love her for that because me too. I know exactly how she feels. But yeah, here is the dining space. So as you can see, there's room for 8 Sims, which is absolutely perfect. One of the Sims is a baby. Now there is a little baby chair in the kitchen. My kind of, you know, imagination was saying that, the mum and dad, they drag it over and then their baby sits with them and they eat. I don't imagine that the baby sits all the way on the other side of the kitchen while they're having dinner. But yeah, I just wanted to put it over there so it wasn't in the way. But yeah, I don't know if like for gameplay purposes I could just replace one of the chairs, but maybe one of the chairs is for grandpa and maybe sometimes he comes over and it's a little bit awkward. And maybe they also have to drag over an extra chair, for his new missus, and it gets a little bit awkward, but I think the Grana is like so funny. Like she lives for the drama, and I think she actually is like low key kind of happy for the grandpa because I don't think they ended on bad terms or anything, but she's just a little bit salty. But I think that she loves to like go out and mingle and to do her own thing. So I don't think by any means she's like moping about. She is good. Like I think that it was a very mutual decision between them. There's no bad blood. I wasn't thinking anything like that. But yeah, I added some lighting and then I realized it was a little bit excessive, so I ended up replacing some of them with the saucer lights. I just have such a hard time with white lighting, and you can see in this build I've used a lot of white lighting, which I'm pretty proud of myself for because I feel like I really struggle with it. But I think it just sometimes makes my builds look a little bit bland, and I don't know why that is, but yeah, whenever I seem to use them, my builds just feel a little bit bland. I don't know, I feel like they feel a little bit more empty, and I don't know why that is, but with it being a coastal vibe, I feel like that is much more white lighting. It's more natural lighting. You're getting the lighting from like being next to the shore, being right on the coastline. You're not going to get that kind of more yellow toned lighting, so it didn't really make sense for me to do that even though I was comfortable with it. But yeah, I just love using the yellow like saucer light things that we have in the base game. I love those so much. But yeah, recently I've really been trying to kind of step away from what I'm super comfortable with because it can get you into that, as I was saying, get you into that really bad routine of just doing the same thing all the time. And yeah, I had so much fun building this, so I'm happy that I did some, a different vibe from usual because I really love it. But yeah, I think this area is pretty much all done. Now, this space here, it was really annoying me. You can see there's a space like between where the bathroom door is and the like dining area. I really, really struggled with keeping that plain. I did try and put a table there with like 2 chairs, but it just looked like there was too much seating space in the one room, so I did end up removing it, which I think was the good idea, the best idea. But anyway, we've moved on to the living room, and I created a little like homemade, what is that called, DIY, maybe not homemade, a little DIY fireplace, which I thought was so cute, and I used this is the window from Snow Escape, I believe, and I also used this in the kitchen area as well to kind of divide the rooms. But I loved how this turned out. Now these kind of like sofas that I'm using, I believe they're from Cats and Dogs, which makes a lot of sense, very fitting. Now this area, you can see it's kind of like this square shape. It's a big massive square, and then we've got that like DIY fireplace in the middle. I like, I didn't struggle, but I really wasn't sure if I could make this work or if it was going to look really ridiculous. But I didn't want to split it up into any more rooms because this house already has a lot of rooms, and I just thought that would be a little bit much. So what I decided to do was do little sections. So this is the living section. There also ends up being like a big dining table section, which is intended more for like a family, like games night kind of situation, not so much eating dinner because they have a dining table. But I wanted to do like a big round table, and I was thinking they maybe sit here, maybe they have drinks, maybe this is for like the mum when she's inviting friends over, maybe it's something like that. But yeah, I didn't think that it was like for eating, you know. But yeah, that's what I ended up going with. So yeah, I thought that was really sweet. Now the other areas of this room, we also end up having like a little couched seating section. So there's a lot of seating in here, and I wasn't sure if it was maybe too much seating, but they're all kind of different types, if that makes sense. So I felt like it looked pretty cute and it worked out. It was a nice, like, big area for, you know, a lot of like different activities to go on if you wanted. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing, and I hope you guys like that. I was a bit unsure on if it was like a bit too much or it didn't make any sense, but I really liked how it looked, so I decided to just keep it. I also made it these like blue seats from these are the sectional couches from the Dream Home Decorator. I really like them in the white swatch as well, but I just thought the blue felt nice because we had a lot of white going on already. And I'm very conscious on using colour. I really like to use a lot of colour in my builds, and I don't want to wash anything out too much, so I thought that was nice. But yeah, you can see here, this is the little area, and it's only got 6 chairs, so it wouldn't probably be used for dining anyway, so it does make sense to be more of a games night, maybe for the older kids, you know, like the 2 boys, and then like the mum and the dad, and then, you know, the grandma. But yeah, I thought that this was a really nice area. You can let me know what you think of it. It's very bright in all of these rooms, but I did add a lot of lighting, so that makes a lot of sense. Now there ends up being a really cute dynamic between the mum and the dad, which I'm going to talk about when I get to the top floor. But I have a whole story on like how they met and stuff, which I thought would be really nice. So you'll hear more about that when I move on to the upstairs. But for now, we're doing the little laundry area. So initially, this area was just going to be open, and it was just going to be like a little open spot, and there wouldn't be like any enclosed rooms or anything. But I just felt like there was going to be too much going on in this space because I end up having another seating space over here. This is more of a cozy nook. This is more somewhere you would go to chill out, relax, maybe read, maybe have a nap, maybe just like, I don't know, maybe like have a phone call with your friend and just chill out. I don't know. This is just like a kind of chilled out area. And I felt like there would be too much going on and it would take away from the chill vibe, because there also ends up being a desk. There also ends up being some like activities for stitching and knitting and all of the above. So yeah, I ended up closing in the laundry room, which I feel like works nicely, but it does create a kind of awkward shaping to this room, and it's something that I noticed, but I didn't think it was too much of an issue to be, you know, worrying about. I kind of, I don't know, I kind of just rolled with it. I was like, you know, it's a bit funky, but it works. It makes sense for this shape. The house is a very weird shape anyway, so it's not too bizarre. But yeah, I end up moving the little desk space over to the other side, so you'll see that in a little moment. I just felt like this was a bit too much in the one area, so you will see that. But this is the communal little you know, what is that called, like office space. So this is for everyone. Now this is somewhere that everyone goes if they want to, do homework, if they want to do work, if they want to, just any quiet time with the computer. Now most of the kids do have access to some sort of computer, so they most likely wouldn't use this one as much. I think this is more targeted towards the mum and the dad, and of course like the grandma as well. But yeah, it is an option, like the kids can use it if they want to, like, but they do have their own, so it's probably not necessary. But yeah, so before I ended up shutting off that room, I did add a pool table, but yeah, it just felt like a little bit too much was going on and it was kind of overwhelming me. So yeah, but yeah, this desk area probably used most by like mum and dad, who, by the way, I didn't actually think super deeply into any of their jobs. I feel like they must have quite good occupations because this is a big house. Unless maybe the land was already owned, or maybe like the thing is with Generations House, typically the storyline that I use at least is that they're passed on through the generations already. So this home would have belonged to, a great relative or anything, something like that. But I feel like they possibly actually built this house themselves. So I think they have quite a lot of money. They're able to do that. They're quite well off. They're very grateful for it as well. I think that they are very humble, but they definitely have like good occupations. So I'm not too sure. Again, like I had not thought about it too much. I did think that the mum could be a possible like surgeon or doctor, but I didn't really think about the dad. So I'm sorry about that. I feel really bad when I don't go into depth with those types of things. But we're doing the mum and dad's bedroom just now. So this bedroom takes a little bit of a turn. So I started off with doing these kind of blues, and like these blues and these like purples and things like that. I thought it looked pretty cute. But as I was getting more and more into it, I was like, I don't like this. This looks odd. This looks a little bit just off, and I just wasn't a fan. So I do end up toning it back, and it ends up being more of a white color scheme, which sounds a little bit boring, but trust me, it ends up looking really cute. I changed out the rug, I changed the swatch of the bed, I actually changed the bedside tables as well, and I also changed that little chair in the corner. So bear with, I feel like it's looking a little bit maybe tacky at the moment, but it does end up looking really beautiful, and I think this ends up being one of my favorite bedrooms. I love how it turns out. They do have a TV in here. It looks like a painting, but they have a TV. I thought that would be nice if they want a little bit of chill time, away from the kids. I forgot to mention this, but I think grandma loves chilling out with the kids. So she's always sneaking them money. She's like, okay, put this in your piggy bank, like take this, you can buy yourself something nice. I think that she takes them down to like because they live right next to the like seaside, so I think that they have like a little like ice cream area, and she's always taking them down for ice cream, and she's giving them like pocket money, and she's like, don't tell your mom. Like I think that she's the type to kind of con the parents and be like, oh, like you should give them some spending money, but then like she also gives the kids spending money. But yeah, she loves them, she loves hanging about with them. So I think that when mum and dad are feeling a little bit stressed out, like everything's a little bit overwhelming, she's more than happy to take them off both their hands, and just like chill out with them. So they probably go in here, they have a bit of chill time. It's really nice in here. I used these bookshelves, which I think are from the Oh, actually, wait, I might be wrong. I was gonna say the Cafe Bistro set, but now I'm not 100% sure if that's right. I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest, I've been really bad at keeping up with the names of kits recently. We got that gorgeous living room kit, And we got that really, really, really gorgeous gamer kit. But apart from that, I've been really bad at keeping up with the names, and I'm so sorry. I just want to apologize for that. But here you can see we've changed the color scheme and we've added in the little baby crib. So this was a new little addition to the family. Now, I think that they weren't planning on having another baby because they have 5 now. They had 4. I'm trying to see. I'm making sure it's right. There's 4 kids, 2 parents, grandma, and baby. Yeah, that's right. So they had 4 kids, and they now have 5. I think it was a little bit of a like Good Luck Charlie situation. If you've seen that, I think they did not intend to have another one, but they are, and I think they're so happy about it. Now, I didn't think too much about the new addition to the family. I wasn't sure if that would be maybe a little boy or a little girl. I didn't really think too much. They currently have 2 boys and 2 girls, so there's, it could go either way. They seem to have like strong genes in both sides. But yeah, I didn't think too much into it, but I thought it would be really sweet to have it next to the bed because that's such a common thing. Like, a lot of parents that do have newborn babies, they do put their cribs next to the bed because I think it's just so much easier for monitoring purposes. It means that they're not needing to get up too much in the middle of the night if the baby's crying, and they're also able to just kind of sit on the bed and like comfort the baby, and then just like put them down back down to sleep when they finally doze off again, if they do. But yeah, I just thought that was a nice little addition. So it's right next to the bed, which I thought was so sweet. And they have an ensuite. I don't even think I had mentioned that, but yeah, they do have an ensuite, and it's a pretty big one as well. It's not even like a little tiny one. They have quite a big one. Now, there does end up being an ensuite for also the 2 little girls. They have a nice little pink bathroom, and I don't think anyone else has an ensuite, but I just felt like it made sense for them because they're quite young and they're sharing like a room together, and so I thought it made sense that they would have like a little like a little bathroom that they share, because there's a lot of people in this family, so they don't want there to be too much arguing over the bathroom. I think that the 2 brothers probably use the other bathroom that's upstairs. But yeah, we've got the grandma's room. So this is grandma's room. She has got her yoga mat. So she is very into fitness. Now, she is such a fitness girl. Like, I think that she is so in shape. I think that she's always going out, like when she's out with the kids and stuff, they probably get very embarrassed, but she's always like, how old do you think I look? Like, to these like probably the kids' friends, but she's like, how old do you think I look? And then everyone's just always so surprised with when she reveals her actual age, because she just does not look it. I think she's just so into fitness and health. Maybe the breakup was part of it. She's like, I want to be glowing. Like, she was already stunning, but she wanted to just like up it a little bit. But yeah, I thought that was really nice. So there is a gym in this house, as I was saying, so she uses it probably the most, but she does also have a yoga mat, some weights, and then like another little mat, like maybe a Pilates mat in her room, and she loves to work out in here as well. There's quite a bit of space, so I'm sure she could get round to doing it. But yeah, I really like this room. It's really nice and cluttered up. It's a little bit of a weird color scheme. Or I don't know, maybe it's not so weird. It's just really like green and white, but I feel like there's a few different like wood tones and swatches going on, but I really liked how this turned out. I thought it went really well with her vibe, her personality. So yeah, I really like it. Her room, I would say, is pretty cluttered up, but again, I did kind of tone back. I feel like the rooms look very neat in this build, and yeah, that's just something that I'm not used to doing, so I hope you like it. But we're finally moving on to the playroom. So this is the big playroom. It is massive and it's by the back doors. Now, this is why I wanted the girls to be a little bit younger, just because I personally feel like this is suited more towards younger kids. But the thing is, when you're 8 and 9, you're still pretty young. And my little nephew, well, my boyfriend's nephew technically, but he calls me his auntie, so I'm gonna take it as a win. He is actually like he's 8, and like I mean I'd say he's very mature, but like he's still a kid. Like they still do kid things, they still play with toys, they still, you know, they're still only in their primary school, so I think that it's still an age where maybe this playroom wouldn't be too babyish or too childish, but I was just kind of concerned in case it was a little bit too young feeling for the age that they are. But it will be really good for your Sims to get their skills up. It will be really nice for them to just kind of like go down here and just get a little bit of fun, because I feel like in The Sims, whenever I'm playing with kids, I feel like they get bored very easily. So this gives a nice way for them to just kind of, go down here, chill out, have some fun, and get their fun up a little bit. So yeah, I thought this would be nice. Now I kind of went a bit crazy and I was like, let's add in carpet, let's add in this, let's add in this. I ended up removing the carpet and just doing lots of rugs, which it is a lot, but I really like it. I like the vibe. So I think this is about us for the bottom floor, and then I do end up moving up onto the second floor. I think it's just this last bathroom. Now this bathroom is probably it's the biggest bathroom in the whole build, because this is big enough for a shower and a bath, which for some reason I feel like is much more luxurious than having the shower bath combo. There does end up being a really beautiful bathroom upstairs, but I think it's slightly smaller than this one. But you will see it when we get to it. I kind of made it specifically for when Sims are after the gym, the one upstairs. But this one is kind of like the basic communal bathroom that everyone uses. It's probably used most by grandma, mum, and dad just because they're on the bottom floor. But of course, anyone can use it. But you do see me decorate all the bathrooms in this speed build, which is not like me, but I really wanted to show it because I never really show me doing bathrooms, and I thought that this bathroom and actually all the bathrooms in this build turned out really nice. I have a bad habit of making all my bathrooms like 2 by 3 tiles wide, and so I was like, I want to make these actually a wee bit more, I don't know, exciting. I want there to be a little bit more going on, so that's what I decided to do. And I played around with a few little dividers, but I thought this looked really cute. I believe these are the dividers from Snowy Escape, I think. And yeah, I just decorated it with a bunch of stuff from Bathroom Clutter and then just like the normal base game items and stuff that we've got. But yeah, that is us. And then we move on to the top floor. So, and this is where of course the rest of the bedrooms are, and we do have some extra like activity rooms which I'm so excited to show. Now this is me just like kind of copying the flooring and the walls and the tiles. I normally cut this part out, but I don't know, I wanted to show my whole process for some reason, so that's what I did. And I started with the two little girls' bedroom. Now I did have problems building here because it's in such an awkward area. So if you don't know, in The Sims, when roofs are, I don't know, close, I guess, to like the camera that you're viewing with, it causes the camera to bounce. And I was having this problem for ages, and I finally was like, okay, I'm gonna try and turn off the bobbin, and I did do it, but I think you do see the camera bob around for a little bit before I do it because it was really, really stressing me out, and I was like, I need to turn this setting off. If you don't know, you are able to stop the camera from doing that. I don't remember exactly how to do it now that I'm thinking about it, but if I can find the video, I'll link it down below. You essentially need to go to your like any folder, I don't know why I said any. I'm sure it's a pronounced I and I folder. And you need to set a specific setting to true instead of false. No, false instead of true. No, true. Do you know what? I'm not even going to say it because I don't even know. So I'm going to try and find it. I'll link it down below just in case you want to know how to do it because, yeah, we all know the camera can be a little bit of a pain. So yeah, just if you see any bobbing around and then it suddenly stops, that's the reason. But anyway, we're doing the two girls' bedroom, and I love this bedroom so, so much. Now, it was kind of hard to fill up because it's honestly quite a really, I mean, it's a really nice size, but it's honestly quite big. And I wanted to put the beds in these specific slots because they were just perfect, like right under the windows, and there was enough room for a little side table. As soon as I seen that layout, I was like, this is perfect. And I added a little desk that I thought that they could share. They probably fight over it, let's be honest, but I thought it was pretty cute. But yeah, I had a little bit of trouble like filling up this space, but I think it ended up looking super, super sweet. So I really hope you guys like this. And you'll also see me decorate their little bathroom, which I filled full of pink and cute. It just feels very, very cute. Definitely feels like a little girl's like, I don't know, like a little girl's like ensuite. I feel like if I had an ensuite when I was younger, like when I was a little girl, I feel like it would have been pink and it would have been like just full of like cute. I feel like mine would have been full of like stickers because I had an obsession with like sticking stickers to my doors and things. So actually, mine would probably be an absolute riot. But this bathroom's actually really clean, all things considered. So yeah, I guess they're just a little bit better at that than I would be. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the re-release of The Sims 1 and 2. Now, of course, I'm sure I don't have to explain. The Sims had re-released The Sims 1 and 2, and they pretty much, I think, have done like a few possible bug fixes, and then they've also made it so it runs a lot better on like the 64-bit and on like a PC, like the PCs we have today, because obviously the Sims and the Sims 2, they came out quite a while ago, so they're a little bit outdated. So I have played around with them. If you don't know, I've actually never played The Sims 1 or The Sims 2. I've only played The Sims 3 and 4. And even with The Sims 3, I never built in it. It was gameplay that I liked to do. And I really, really loved it. I used to play it on Xbox, not my PC. And so, yeah, it felt really crazy because I decided to play all of them, and I do have a video coming out soon. It's just in the editing process because it's taken a while to kind of get through all the footage and edit it, but I'm really, really excited to release it. But yeah, I had to play around with it all, and oh my gosh, like it is crazy. It's just so weird playing those games. I felt like I was fangirling over items that we have in The Sims 4 that are in The Sims 1. Which is like backwards, but yeah, I had so much fun, and I'm so excited for that video to come out. But please let me know your opinions on the re-releases. I would love to hear it. I know a lot of people are very excited about it. So yeah, now we have moved on. We did the little girls' bedrooms, and now we are doing the older son. So this is the son that I imagine is in college. Now, of course, he's very focused on his studies at the moment, and he is a very clean, organized person. So his room is almost pristine. It's really, really lovely. It's really nice and laid out, and I feel like he probably isn't in his room a whole lot, or if he is, he's probably mainly on his computer, because I think he spends a lot of time at like university, and so, or college. I don't know if it's university, or I guess it's Discover University, so I guess that makes more sense. But yeah, he doesn't spend too much time in his room, so that maybe explains why it's so clean. But he seems to be very organized, and right next to his bedroom we have his younger brother. So this is the brother that is going into high school soon. So he is, he's still quite young, but he's so excited, and he has already, or I guess he's like already in a football team. I don't know how it works. Like maybe he played for this team in primary, and now he is, I don't know, he's like playing for the same team, but he's, kind of, he's in the older division possibly in high school. I thought that was a nice storyline. So he's very obsessed with sports. He is so obsessed with like, I don't know, maybe not like school, but like the sport side of school. He's like very, very interested in that. He's super inspired. And yeah, he really looks up to his older brother, even though his brother isn't studying anything close to like his interests. He just thinks he's a really cool person, and he loves hanging out with him. And I think that they probably have other interests that are in common, maybe things like music and games. And then they have their separate things, like, of course, the older brother going to university and the younger one being very interested in sports. But yeah, I think that they have a really nice, healthy dynamic. I also imagine that this brother has a good relationship with his younger sisters as well. I think that they are always like begging him to play, but he's always like, no, I just want to play football. And I feel like they want to join in football sometimes. And I think he does sometimes, but sometimes he's like, I just want to practice. Like, I just want to do it on my own. I want to hang out with my friends. And yeah, he loves his sisters, but like, he just wants to do his own thing. I also feel like the older brother has a good relationship with his little sisters. I think that he's very protective of them. That's something I forgot to mention, but I feel like he would do anything for them. Even though he's like maybe closer to his younger brother, he loves his sisters so much. But anyway, we're finally moving on to one of the activity rooms. So in this room, I decided to do a little book nook. Now, I did have a really nice storyline behind this. So, the idea is that I think the mum and dad of this household actually met at a book club. And I think that they met in high school. They were like high school sweethearts. And they met in book club. And it was something that was really funny because both of them didn't know each other beforehand. They'd maybe sort of heard of each other, but they definitely didn't really know each other. And I think the mum thought that the guy was like, oh, he's totally stuck up. He's so obsessed with like trying to look cool and women and like other girls, and I feel like he didn't think too much of the mum. Like he probably didn't really know her. And then they met in book club, and they both, well, the mum specifically realized, oh, maybe there's a little bit more to him than meets the eye. Maybe he's not just this super cool guy. Like he has a bit of a soft nerdy side that she hadn't seen before. And yeah, they ended up always meeting each other at book club, and that was kind of history. They became really close. They had so many interests, like liking the same books, loving the same authors. I thought that was really sweet, and so I just thought it would be nice if I included it, and it could be a joint hobby for the mum and dad, and they like to go up there and spend some alone time and just chill and read books. Probably not at the same time, because I feel like it would be distracting. Although I guess at libraries people do that, so maybe it's not too distracting. I did give them an open door though, so I don't know if that would be distracting, but oh no, I changed it. I just realized it did have an open door, but I changed it. Because I actually thought about that. Anyway, we finally moved on to the second kitchen. So there is a story behind this, and that is why I have not mentioned too much. Now, the older brother, is actually studying chefing. So he is so interested in becoming a chef. I wanted to keep a secret till this point. I thought it would be like a reveal for some reason. Not really a reveal, but I wanted to explain. I wanted there to be a bit of question on why there was a random kitchen up here. So he is doing chefing, and so he is in the kitchen a lot. Now that's another reason he's quite clean, I think, is because he needs to clean up a lot for obviously chefing. And I think that he mainly, I don't know if chefing's the right word, because he doesn't necessarily make like savory meals. He only really makes sweeter meals, so maybe like a baker might be a little bit of a better definition. Maybe he's more like going along the like baking industry, to like, you know, open up his own bakery. I don't think it's so much chefing, because I had included like an ice cream maker, like a hot chocolate tray. I think there's also like a cake mix. So I was imagining that he does that, and then on the side he actually bakes cakes for people, and he like does requests for like people's birthdays, and you know, he makes things for people, and that's kind of like his hobby, and that's what he likes to do. So he's got like his own little kitchen. I mean, this place is massive, so I feel like the family was like, the mum and dad were more than happy to let him have that space for his cooking. And I think that they also absolutely love his cooking. Like, they're kind of low-key dreading the day that he leaves, because they're not going to be able to get up in the middle of the night and grab a cupcake and grab some pudding. Like, they're gonna have to they're gonna have to just learn how to do it themselves. But yeah, I thought that was a really nice storyline for him. So yeah, also, if you just heard my chair creak, I'm really sorry. It made like the loudest noise ever there, but anyway, so we are now doing the hallway, which I do end up changing. So I mean, maybe don't ignore what I'm doing, but I feel like, I don't know, don't admire it too much, because I end up changing a few things. But this is the second last room that I do. So this is the gym. I thought it was such a nice idea to have a gym. I just love it. And this room was such a weird shape. So I was like, I need to put something in here. I knew that I couldn't do another bedroom unless I wanted to do a spare bedroom, but I thought that might be a bit boring since we've already got like 5? 4? No, 5. So I was like, we don't need 6 bedrooms. So yeah, this is the gym. Now, this is where I imagine the grandma hangs out. She comes up here and she does all of her running, and she's on the machine. Maybe she does a bit of the punching bag as well. But yeah, I thought that was really nice. I also think that the younger brother comes in here a lot, because he's obviously very into fitness. He's on the football team. By the way, I'm assuming it's a football team, like the soccer team. I don't think it's basketball, so I'm hoping that's correct what I'm saying. But yeah, I imagine he's also very into fitness, so he also comes up here and he does that as well. And yes, so there's a lot of like just basic stuff in here, just like the machines. I really struggled with this room because I was like, this doesn't feel very cluttered, but I don't think you can clutter up gyms too much in The Sims, just because then they can't use anything. So I thought I was better to be safe, and so I just left it as is. But here is the last bathroom, and I love this bathroom so much. So this is significantly smaller than the one downstairs, but you'll see what I did with the space. I kind of made it into 2 separate areas. So we've got an area for the bath and then an area for the sink and toilet. And the reason for this is because I feel like they use that bath as an ice bath specifically. So after they actually have like their workout, they go in here and they have an ice bath, and then you can close the curtain, so if like a sim wants to use the toilet or wash their hands, they're not interfering with whoever's using the ice bath, because there is like a curtain, which hopefully is like soundproof as well. But yeah, just so you know, it's not a little bit off-putting hearing someone splash about when you're trying to like do your business. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it for this video. I think the last part that I do is just the little exterior area, which ends up just being storage, so there's probably not too much that is very exciting there. But I do just want to say a massive thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps me out and I really appreciate it. But yeah, please let me know what you're thinking of the new well, I keep wanting to say the new Sims games, the old re-releases of the Sims games, because I would love to hear it. But thank you all so much. And this build on my gallery ID is just iHanza. There's no YT, apparently. I don't know why I thought there was. It's always one of those days for me. But yeah, if you want to download it, please feel free, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.